They say every village carry its own secret. Some hide it in the forest, some bury it beneath the earth. But in the village called Obio Ndem, our shame sat boldly in the center of the village, uncovered, untouched, yet feared by all. They called it Indi de Obom, the forbidden well. They said it was dug by spirit, fed by blood, and tasty for foolish souls. The elder sworn, no child must fetch from that well, no man must lean close to his mouth, and no woman must speak of it after sunset. But 18, the one they said had no respect for tradition, the one they said has the heart of a snake and the stubbornness of a goat. They warned me like they warn others, but in my heart I laughed. How can a water kill a man? I asked one of the drunkard evening beneath the udala tree, where will the village boys gather to mock our elders' tales. If the spirit live there, let them come out and slap me, 18 boasted, and my friends laughed, beating the chest. But even in their laughter, none dared follow me to Indi de Umbom. That night, under a sky so dark, even the moon refused to shine. I carried my empty calabash and I went to fetch water from the well. They say when a man begins his journey with pride, shame will meet him halfway. I did not know my shame was already waiting beneath that water. I reached the well, my shadow dancing under the trembling flame of my lantern. Silence held the air, not even the frog croaked that night. I peered into the mouth of Indi the Obom, black bottomless, no reflection, no sound. I tied my rope, lowered my calabash. The rope seemed endless. Until suddenly it stopped, not water, not stone. It felt like flesh, but foolishness pushed me on. I pulled the calabash back up. When it emerged, it was filled but not with water, red, thick, warm, like the blood of a fresh goat. My hand shook. Still, I lifted it. Still, I carried it home. I told myself, it is only water, only the lantern shadow playing tricks. But as I walked, something followed behind me. Not footsteps, not voices, a presence, heavy, watching, breathing closely. When I entered my compound, my mother screamed, "Etim, who told you to touch that well?" I laughed again. "Mother, leave me. You and your village fears. What is a well to me?" But that night, when I closed my eye, the well came into my dream. I dreamed I was drowning, drowning in water that burned like fire. Hands grabbed me from below, faces I did not recognize, faces without eyes, mouth wide open, teeth sharp like broken pot. Ate him. Why did you wake us? I screamed in my sleep. I woke to find my bed soaked, not with sweat, but with red liquid dripping from the calabash beside me. My mother called the elders. They gathered under the moonlight, shaking their grey hair. Old woman spat on the ground. The priestess tied white clothes on her head and muttered things to the earth. "What you have fetched is not water," she said. "What you have woken is not woman." Still, I laugh. Still, I refuse to fear. Until my younger sister, sleeping beside me, began to converse at midnight, her mouth foaming, her eyes rolling, and from her lips came a voice that was not even her own. "The depth is yours now, 18. The blood is old, it will not wait long." Days passed, my mother grew silent. My sister laughter returned, but her eyes held something hollow. At night, I heard things scratching beneath the earth, whisper from the compound well, footstep on the zinc roof when there was no one there. Then came the night. I saw it, a snake, long as a palm tree, its skin black as coal, but its eyes, my mother's eyes, it slithered into my room, his mouth opening wide, and from his throat came my mother's voice. "Eat him, fetch no more, drink no more, sleep no more, until the debt is paid." I screamed. I ran to my mother's hut. She sat, chewing cola calmly. No snake, no fear. But when she smiled her teeth, sharp, pointed, not human, I left her hut trembling. Outside the moon, blade red. It began with the door creaking open, not by wind, not by hand. The lantern blew out on its own. Cold filled my heart, though the night was hot, and then she appeared, a woman, skin pale like ash, eyes black like wet charcoal, hair long, floating, not falling. She wore no clothes, only scars, and she wept. Blood fell from her eyes instead of tears. 18, she whispered, "You have woken us. You have stolen what belongs to Bennett. The blood is your debt or another." I tried to shout. No sound came from my throat. Behind her, others gathered, men without head, children with mouths stitched shut, women with bellies sliced open, all pointed at me, all wept blood. "Return what you took, or be taken yourself." Then they vanished, but on my wall, scratched deep, was one word, "Obom." Well, and from outside the calabash of blood waited again at my doorstep was food fresh and warm. After the spirit left my room, I thought things would end there, but that was only the beginning. The next morning, my mother sent me to my grandfather's old hut, the one abandoned since he died 10 years ago. I hated that place. The air was always thick, the palm trees bent as if whispering secrets only the dead could understand. But my mother's words rang sharp to my ears. "You opened something you should not have eaten. Go and close it." Inside the hut, cobwebs hugged every corner. The air smelled of dust, forgotten story, and old blood. But beneath the mat where my grandfather used to sleep, something waited. I pulled the mat aside. There, dug into the earth with a shallow oak cover in the back 4 feet cloth tied with red thread. Inside, wrapped in leaf, was a woman's skull, his teeth still intact, his eye socket still watching, and on it, his forehead carved deep, was my grandfather's name, Udoetin. My heart jumped into my throat. I ran to my mother screaming, but she only sat calmly, peeling yam. He was not buried in the ground eating. His bones kept the spirit quiet beneath the well. You fetch from it. Now the well wants his bone back. I realized then grandfather grave was not beneath the soul. It was tied to that coarse water. And now the spirit wanted him return. That night, as the villagers slept, I heard them, drums, slow, heavy, ancient. No one else heard them, not my mother, not my sister, not even the dogs back. But in my ears, the sound beat deep, like thunder inside the bone. I followed the sound into the night, into the forest behind Obio Ndem, through paths where no man dared walk after sunset. The trees moved as if it was alive. The air smelled of wet things and death. And then I found figures dancing, naked, except for leaf tied around their waist. Their skin was not skin, but grey like clay dug from ancient earth. Their eyes hollow pit, their teeth filled sharp. They beat drums made of skin. They dance around something. The calabash, the same one I brought from the well, now cracked, bleeding and whispering. As I watched, one of them turned, pointed at me, and spoke with a mouth that dripped warm. "Come drink again." I ran, but the drums followed me all the way home, beating inside my chest long after my ears heard nothing. At dawn, my father returned from his farm. He looked thinner, older and afraid, as if the forest had swallowed some part of his soul. He called me to the backyard where no ear could hear. He whispered like a man carrying a heavy cross. 18, you must listen very, very well. That's well. It fed on us. Your grandfather broke a covenant long ago. He stole something from the spirit beneath. Blood was the price, and we have been paying it silently, generation after generation. Your grandmother died because of it. Your uncle vanished because of it. And now, because of your foolishness, the spirits are awake again. I asked him what the grandfather steal, but my father only wept. And before he could answer, he began to cough. Blood poured from his mouth. Something moved beneath his skin, crawling and twisting. By evening, my father was dead. His last word choked through his bleeding lips. Return it, or Obio Ndem will burn. They buried 18 father beneath the udala tree without song, without prayer. They feared what his death meant. They feared me even more. That night, the village elders called a secret meeting, not in the chief hut, not in the square, but deep in the forest, where old things are spoken of in whispers. They wore red clothes around their waist, they pointed white chalk on their foreheads, and they carried the bones of animals on their hands. The boy has brought the curse finally upon us. He touched the forbidden. He broke the peace of our fathers, paid for their blood. The spirits demand balance. They sent for the priestess, old blind, yet her eyes saw more than any living soul. She touched the ground, listened, then spoke. He must marry the river maiden. Only through union can death be delayed. If he refuse, then Obio Ndem will drown him in his own blood before the next full moon. And that night, they tied 18 with rope and dragged him to the river edge where something waited beneath the black water. They stripped 18 of his clothes, painted 18 chest with white and red chalk, bounded his wrist with palm fronds. The priestess sang, the drums beat, the night trembled. From the river she rose, not walking, not floating, moving like mist wrapped in flesh. Her hair was water, her eyes empty hole where fish swam, her mouth smiling with teeth like broken shells. 18, I have waited long. I know you will come. I know you will fetch. Now you will wed me, or Obionde shall drown. The elders knelt, 18 mothers wept, trembled. The river maiden stretched her hand, her finger were the bone beneath the skin. Her voice was wind and thunder mixed. Take me or lose everything. I opened my mouth to scream, but no sound came, and from beneath her feet the ground split open, and the calabash, still full of blood, rose again from the depths, waiting for me to choose. They tied me with palm fruit and led me to a river like a sacrificial goat. The elders did not speak to me. The priestess did not look at me. Even my mother turned her face to the ground ashamed. At the water edge, the river maiden waited. Her pale face stared through me as if I was already dead. Her hand, long and thin, like a bone wrapped in skin, reached towards me. Take my hand, 18, she whispered. What is done beneath the water shall bind you to us forever. I refuse. I spat towards the river, but my spit vanished before it touched the water. The priestess shook her head. Refuse her, and your blood will feed her well. I was pushed forward. The river maiden smiled. Her fingers wrapped around mine, and suddenly the water swallowed me whole. Beneath the water, there was no air, no up, no down, only darkness like a womb, alive and breathing. Hands pulled me deeper, mouth kissed my skin, cold and wet, eyes open around me, thousand, blinking like fish watching. We sank until we reached a place where no light could reach, where trees grew ups and down from the river ceiling, where drums beat without hand, where bones dance without bodies. The river maiden led me to a throne of made of skulls and broken calabash. Upon it sat a man, half rooted, half living. His beard was moss, his crown was bone. 18, son of disobedience, welcome to your in-law. The king of the river word spoke without moving his lip. His word entered my bones, not my ears. Your grandfather stole from me. Your father paid with a silence. You have paid with a courage. So I offer you a seat or a grave. I begged, I wept. What did my grandfather steal? Etim said. The king pointed to the calabash at my feet. Inside floated not water, but a small shivered heart wrapped in thread. He took this, the heart of our promise. Without it, we would taste with it. You live, return it, or become it. I woke, coughing water onto the river bank. The calabash was in my hands again. I thought the course has ended, but as I walked home, the palm trees wept blood. Where I passed, the ground cracked behind my footstep. Frogs sang in rivers. Birds flew backward. I entered my compound. My mother had aged 10 years overnight. My sister hair turned white. Even our ghost refused to look at me. At night, my door opened itself. The river maiden stood there smiling. One cannot marry the river and still sleep on dry land eating. At midnight, my grandfather rose from his hidden grave, not as a man, but as something in between. His mouth hung open, empty of tongue. His eyes bled sand. His footsteps grow roots where they touch earth. He pointed to the calabash in my room. Then he spoke through my sister's lips as she slept. Return what I stole or finish what I began. In the morning, my sister was gone. Her footprints led to the well, but never away from it. I searched the village. The people closed their doors when they saw me coming. Mothers grabbed their children. Fathers passed to keep my shadow from touching them. At the priestess hut, I begged for help. She only laughed. Your sister walks where no man can follow. She eats what no human mouth should taste. She drinks from the calabash you refuse to return. Still, I went to the well, to the forest, to the riverside, everywhere. The same message search into trees, into earth, into sky. Ubom. I went to the oldest elder, blind and toothless, who sat beneath the iroko tree since before my father's birth. I asked, what is Ubom? He wept before he spoke. Ubom is not well. Ubom is dull. Your family opened it long ago. Now it will not close without blood. He told me the truth. My grandfather had stolen from the spirit to gain power. He had hidden the stolen heart in our family bloodline. Each first son carried the debt. Each first son paid unless I return it beneath the water before the next red moon. That night, the sky bleed, the moon rose red, fat and watching. The frogs sound louder, the trees leaned closer, the wind carried laughter, not from mouth but from earth itself. The river maiden visited me again. She stroked my face with finger like reed. Time is going. Choose life beneath or die above. I held the calabash tighter. Inside the heart beat now, soft, slow and waiting. With rope tied to my waist, I lowered myself into the forbidden well, deeper than deep, past roots, past bones, past cream, tapped in water. I reached the bottom, not stone, not earth, a door covered in cravings, locked with teeth, not keys. The calabash in my hand grew warm. The heart inside pulsed harder. The door opened. Below, the well was not hell. It was not heaven. It was not word. It was beneath all things. Yeah, spirits walk on air. Yeah, rivers flow upward. Yeah, men with gold eat prey to trees with woman's mouth. And yeah, my sister sat, drinking from the calabash, her eyes empty, her smile wrong. Brother, it tastes so sweet. Deeper still, beyond my sister, waited the mother, not woman, not beast, a shape made of water, bone and darkness. Her voice broke rocks when she spoke. 18, the depth is older than you, older than your father. Return what you have stolen and take your place beside me or feed me with your blood. I placed the calabash at her feet. The heart inside stopped beating. It melted into water. The mother smiled. It is done. Almost. The mother of the well told me, you may leave, but you must never speak of this. never return, never fetch again, or Obio Ndem will drown in red. She kissed my forehead, cold final, and I woke on the river bank alive, breathing. But behind me, beneath the water, my sister voice called softly, "Brother, it still tastes sweet." If you think 18 nightmare is over, then think again. What waits for him beyond the river is far darker than anyone in Obio Ndem has imagined. If you don't want to miss out this terrifying tale unfold, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Like the video, share with someone who loves African folktale story. Thank you.